Hey, you guys. So, no specific vlog today, but we are going to chat about chronic illness a little bit and what it's like to try to push through even when you're not feeling great, because I'm not feeling great. So this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video and just a chat because it has been a rough couple of days for me. So as you guys know, usually I'm recording a video and then editing it the next day. So we're on Sunday and this should be Saturday's vlog, but I have had a really rough weekend. So this is a little bit of girly talk, but I promise I won't get graphic for the guys in the group. But I have for lack of better term, a chronic illness called PCOS. If you're familiar with it or you also struggle with it, you understand immediately what it is, but it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was diagnosed with it in my early 20s, so I have been dealing with this for a long time, but I really had come up with a really good regimen for dealing with my symptoms. But ever since I had my daughter, I have been really struggling. And I know it has to do with those hormonal imbalances after pregnancy and everything else, but it has really been tough. And I feel like every month gets worse. And I just have been really struggling with what I would call a PCOS flare up. And it involves things that I really don't want to talk about on camera, but mostly fatigue and nausea and a lot of pain. And I have struggled the last couple days. So I apologize for talking about health, but that is basically all I will say. So you can unplug your ears and we're all good. But this is something that I deal with pretty much on a regular basis. At least, every few months I'll have some kind of flare up or something that is going wrong with fatigue or whatever. And as somebody who, we're all creative, it's one thing to show up for certain kinds of jobs where you just kind of go through the motions. But when you're having to show up for your creativity and you don't feel well, it's one of the most difficult things I think you can do. It's like if you don't feel good, it is very hard to get to a place where you're like excited about creating something. And so often when you're writing, you're kind of diving deep into your own soul and like really pulling out your imagination, and you're making decisions and you're using your brain, but you're also using your heart and you're pouring so much of yourself into it that if you don't feel good, like you're in pain or you have a terrible headache or you are feeling nauseated all the time or so tired you can barely keep your eyes open, it is really difficult to like pour your whole heart out onto the page. And it's just not the kind of job that is easy to do when you don't feel good. But in the end, if you want to make your dreams come true and you want to be a full-time writer and you want to show up for your deadlines and you want to do these things that you are so passionate about doing, sometimes you've got to find a way to push through or to help yourself get to a place where you're feeling better. So basically, the way that I have been dealing with this type of issue for myself is threefold. Number one, I make the most of the times when I am feeling really good. So I know these times are going to come. I don't know when they're going to come, but I know throughout the quarter or throughout the year, I'm going to face this several times. So when I'm feeling really good, I try to make the very most of those days. So those days when I'm feeling great are not days when I'm like scrolling Facebook or, wasting time with things that don't matter. When I'm having really good days, I make sure to pour as much time into the creative things as possible. So for me, I have a list of things that are high energy tasks and things that are low energy tasks. So a low energy task is going to be stuff like answering emails or, like cleaning my office or whatever. A high energy task though is going to be like writing the book or creating my planner or things like that. So it's easy for me to sit in and type in numbers or calculate my sales numbers or come up with a promo idea. But things like creating the books, doing live videos, creating my videos, stuff like that. Those are high energy tasks. So when I'm feeling really good, I do the things on my high energy task list first. I don't mess around with email as much. I don't mess around with social media as much. I do the live videos and the things that take up a lot of energy for me. On the low energy days like today, or days when I'm just downright feeling bad, that's when I still try to, at least if I can, move the needle on the things that are low energy tasks, like answer a few emails, clean up a few things, plan a few things, you know, that kind of stuff, like very low energy stuff. But when you have a deadline, sometimes you do still have to sit down and write. So in that case, this is the second fold thing, is I know what time of day I'll tend to feel better. So when I'm having these kind of nauseated PCOS flare-up days, I have a really tough time getting going early in the morning, but I go ahead and get up because I know that if I stay in bed, I'm only going to be fatigued the rest of the day. So I get myself up and I give myself a few hours. And then when I hit that sweet spot, like 9, 10 a.m., that I'm kind of feeling the best I will feel. Maybe I've just taken some medicine, I've had an ice pack on, I've gotten my breakfast and some coffee, and I'm finally starting to wake up. I seize that time because it's probably the best I'm going to feel all day. And as the day goes on and it gets further into evening, I know I'm going to feel worse and worse and get more and more tired. So I try to get the creative work, the high energy stuff that has to get done in the morning. So I did the writing retreat the last couple of days, and that's when I got my words in. I'm behind again on my deadline, even though I pushed my book back because the last 2 days have been so excruciatingly bad. So I got my writing in the morning, so they weren't 0 days. I'll update you guys on my word count in just a minute. I actually decided just to go ahead and insert it here so you guys can actually see the 22nd, which is as I'm recording this, so this will go on to tomorrow's vlog. But yesterday on the 21st, I did get 2,127 words, which brought my nano count up to 45,466. So I was able to do that even though I wasn't feeling great, because I really seized those 2 hours in the morning when I was feeling better, and I was able to use the momentum of having that community, that writing community, to lean on. And so I didn't have a 0 day. I tried to get back to it later that night and just couldn't do it. So at least I didn't have a 0 day. I had a really good day at 2,000 words and feeling good about that. But that's one of the big tips, is seize the times that you are feeling good. The third thing that I do is I work these days into my schedule. So many of you who have been following me here for a while know that I work on a 90-day system. So I have my own method I kind of created out of multiple trial and error and different types of productivity tools called the Hb90 Method. So I use my Kanban board, I have a planner, and I'm set 3 goals every quarter. And then I break those goals down into manageable projects and tasks that I complete throughout the 90 days. And I don't take on anything extra. I just do exactly what my plan was and nothing more. But when I'm initially planning those 90 days, I always work in buffer days. So we talked about this some with the Preptober workbook. Having those buffer days is so very important. So I always work in buffer days. So for each quarter, I try to work in at least 6 buffer days. That way, when I hit times like this and I'm not feeling good, I can take those days off guilt-free. Now, unfortunately, this particular situation is not working out guilt-free 100% because I'm so far behind on a deadline that has a specific pre-order. So that has been a little bit more challenging. But in a typical quarter, having those buffer days means that I can take those days off without feeling guilty. So if you are somebody who struggles with chronic illness like migraines or PCOS or endometriosis or lupus or anything like that, whether it's really a lot more severe than what I handle, or whether it's around the same as me, like 6 days a quarter or 7 days a quarter where you don't feel well, plan for it. You know, it's okay to take the time off that you need. And I think that one of the hardest things about being an entrepreneur, being a self-published or indie author, or being a creative entrepreneur, someone who wants to make a living out of your creativity, especially if you guys are working a full-time job or you have kids at home or you're a student full-time and you're already so packed and busy, one of the biggest challenges is figuring out, how do I keep working toward my goals when I don't have the energy to keep going? So just a little bit of a preview. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming in 2021 from me about energy management, because it is something that is extremely important as a creative, and it's something that I think we all kind of struggle with, and definitely have struggled with in 2020, because it's this mix of like wanting to be productive, having these huge goals that mean the world to you, but sometimes just not having the mental, emotional, and physical energy to put everything you wish you could put into it. And I think that there are ways that we can manage it, that like tools that we can gather for ourselves. One is creating those high and low energy task lists for yourself. That helps me a lot. Another, though, is not beating yourself up when you have a bad day. I mean, whether you're sitting here behind on your nano goal or behind on a deadline like I am, there's really only so much you can do before you start to really damage yourself when it comes to your health, especially your mental health, but also your physical health. So yes, we want to achieve big things, but it doesn't do any good to then be mad at yourself when you need a break. So I haven't been feeling well. I didn't get a vlog up. I'm getting the vlog up, but I didn't get a vlog recorded yesterday. I didn't record a vlog today other than just talking to you guys here. But not writing 5,000 words a day, not getting a vlog done or whatever. If that's what I needed because I wasn't feeling well, so be it. Every single one of us is going to need some days off. Every single one of us is going to need to take time for mental or physical health here and there. The key is you don't stay in that place where you're giving up on yourself. It's not an all or nothing situation here. It's not like you show up 100% every day of Nano or you failed. Wherever you're sitting right now, whether you're way behind or you're almost at the finish line, don't give up on yourself, but also don't feel like you're a failure just because you needed some days off. This has been a beast of a year, a really difficult year. And some of us are, we're all dealing with the global implications of COVID-19 and everything else that's been going on this year. But, we're all still also dealing with our own stuff, like our own chronic illnesses, our own families, our own depression, our own issues that we have in just daily life, our own stresses. And it has compounded in a lot of ways. So don't beat yourself up if you're not having like your perfect month. Nobody has a perfect month or a perfect life all the time. I am not perfect, and I have really struggled the last couple days. And so I just wanted to come on tonight and just kind of chat. So instead of having a particularly interesting vlog tonight, hopefully you guys will take, some of you will take something from this message that, we're all going to have down days. We're all going to have times where we struggle. But the key is not whether you're perfect all the time or whether you are 100% all the time. The key is whether or not you get up and you keep trying. So don't give up on yourself. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. Wherever you're sitting right now, whatever word count you're on, whatever struggles you're facing, this is just a snapshot in time. You're going to feel better tomorrow. Get the rest you need. Take care of yourself and your mental health because it is so important. Your goals should never come at the expense of your mental and physical health. So if you need a break, take the break and don't feel guilty for it, but don't stay there forever. Don't give up on yourself. You've got a dream for a reason. So let's go make it happen. All right. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you.